You think you're holding a $500,000 handbag, but you're clutching the ghost of a biologically hacked, prehistoric killer. We aren't just surviving nature, we are playing God. The terrifying, heavily guarded truth behind our world is about to be exposed, and the final revelation will permanently shatter your reality. Imagine the heavy, imposing weight of a $500,000 Hermes Birkin bag resting against your palm. You trace your fingertips over the unparalleled, almost alien symmetry of its scaled leather, feeling the absolute apex of modern wealth. Now, imagine your other hand cradling a flawless, snow-white orb of authentic Italian buffalo mozzarella, yielding and perfectly smooth. On the surface, you are holding two completely disconnected symbols of human indulgence, one belonging to the sterile, glittering boutiques of high fashion, the other to the rustic, sun-drenched tables of elite gastronomy. But if you dare to strip away the blinding runway lights and the romanticized Michelin star narratives, you will unearth a profoundly raw, deeply unsettling, and terrifyingly violent shared origin story. At Nluvuong 04 warmly welcomes you to a journey that will permanently alter how you perceive the physical world around you. We are not just observing the creation of high-end commodities, we are staring directly into the breathtaking, bloody transition from a wild, unpredictable, and fiercely brutal natural order into a sterile, ultra-precise, mathematically perfect industrial utopia. If you want to uncover these hidden, mind-bending realities of the global supply chain that the majority of society will never be allowed to see, please hit that subscribe button right now. Your support is the absolute lifeblood of this channel, giving us the relentless motivation to keep tearing down the heavily guarded walls of these secretive industries to bring you the unvarnished truth. For millennia, human survival was a fragile, desperate game of bowing to the chaotic, unforgiving whims of nature. We were at the mercy of the elements and the beasts. But somewhere in the dark, ambitious corridors of our history, humanity collectively decided to rewrite the biological script of the planet. We looked at the most fearsome apex predators of the prehistoric swamps, the massive, mud-soaked beasts of the plains, and the most fragile, fleeting biological reproductive mechanisms, and we handed them all over to a quiet, obsessive army of engineers, biochemists, and agronomists. What they built in the shadows is not merely agriculture. It is a cinematic spectacle of planetary resource management, engineering living organisms into systems so insanely complex they feel like dystopian science fiction. Today, we are going to tear apart the fabric of three distinct agricultural miracles that define the absolute extremes of our modern era. We will plunge headfirst into hostile, murky wetlands to witness how a cold-blooded, armored assassin, the crocodile, was biologically hacked and genetically gentrified to become the cornerstone of a billion-dollar luxury empire. We will march into the blistering, sun-baked mud flats to decipher the complex, heavy-breathing biological engine of the water buffalo, a prehistoric-looking beast that serves as the sole biochemical architect of a sprawling global dairy and meat industry. And finally, we will abandon the natural world entirely, stepping into the chillingly perfect, stainless steel fortresses of peak automation, where millions of fragile eggs are collected, scanned, cracked, and transformed into perfectly uniform, mass-produced omelets without a single human fingerprint ever gracing the final product. This is a profound journey from the untamed, violent wild to the uncompromising pinnacle of global industrial standards. Buckle up. The sheer, obsessive scale of what happens behind these closed factory doors is a chilling testament to human ingenuity, and it is about to completely blow your mind. To truly comprehend this breathtaking conquest of nature, we must first abandon the pristine, softly lit boutiques of Paris and step directly into the sweltering, carnivorous humidity of the modern crocodile farm. When you stand at the edge of these murky concrete enclosures, you are looking at a creature that outlived the dinosaurs, an apex predator engineered by millions of years of brutal evolution to be the ultimate killing machine. Yet, in the hands of the global luxury cartel, this terrifying beast has been subjected to a psychological and biological gentrification that is as fascinating as it is deeply unsettling. The crocodiles here are not raised to be wild, they are raised to be flawless. Every aspect of their existence is micromanaged with a terrifying, clinical precision that borders on obsession. In the wild, a crocodile's skin is a map of its violent survival, scarred by territorial battles, marred by parasites, and toughened by the harsh swamp terrain. But the luxury market demands absolute, unblemished perfection. To achieve this, human engineers have created a bizarre, highly sterilized parody of nature. The animals are isolated in smooth, meticulously cleaned pens to ensure they never bite or scratch one another. Their diets are scientifically calibrated to promote even scale growth, stripping away the unpredictable nature of a wild hunt. Watching these ancient, armored reptiles resting motionless in their pristine, temperature-controlled water, I am struck by a profound sense of melancholy. We have taken the undisputed king of the prehistoric wetlands and reduced it to a fragile, pampered crop. The harvesting process is an equally calculated affair, devoid of the chaotic struggle of nature. It is swift, silent, and ruthlessly efficient, designed entirely to protect the integrity of the belly skin. The moment that skin is separated from the flesh, a miraculous, almost alchemical transformation begins. The raw, organic armor of a killer is plunged into a gauntlet of chemical baths, tanning drums, and expert buffing wheels until it loses all memory of the swamp. It is shaved down to a millimeter's thickness, dyed in vibrant, unnatural hues, and polished to a mirror shine. By the time it reaches the hands of a master artisan, the crocodile has ceased to be an animal. It has been resurrected as a status symbol, an impossibly expensive artifact that speaks to humanity's ultimate triumph over the wild. We do not just wear the skin of a monster, we tame it, purify it, and charge a fortune for the privilege of holding its ghost. While the subjugation of a prehistoric killer speaks to our vanity, our manipulation of the water buffalo reveals a far more intimate, biochemical alchemy that transforms raw, muddy muscle into elite culinary art. If you travel to the sun-baked plains of Campania, Italy, you will encounter a beast that looks entirely out of place in a world of refined gastronomy. The water buffalo is a massive, dark, heavily breathing creature, built for the grueling labor of plowing flooded rice paddies and enduring the oppressive heat of tropical swamps. Standing close to them, you can feel the sheer, dense power radiating from their thick, mud-caked hides. Yet, hidden within this rugged, unyielding exterior is a delicate biological engine capable of producing one of the most coveted, luxurious substances on Earth. Humanity looked at this beast of burden and recognized a hidden potential in its rich, impossibly thick milk, setting off a centuries-long journey to hijack its reproductive cycle for our own indulgence. The milk of the water buffalo is a nutritional powerhouse, boasting twice the fat content of standard cow's milk, making it a thick, sweet, and highly complex raw material. The process of turning this heavy, opaque liquid into the fragile, snow-white orb of authentic mozzarella di bufala is a breathtaking collision of raw biology and exquisite human craftsmanship. It requires an almost intuitive understanding of temperature, acidity, and timing. Watching the master cheesemakers plunge their hands into the scalding vats of whey to stretch and tear the curds is like watching a sculptor pull a masterpiece out of formless clay. The contrast is deeply jarring. You look at the dark, imposing, dirt-covered animal standing in the blazing sun, and then you look at the yielding, porcelain-smooth cheese weeping milky tears onto a porcelain plate. They feel like they belong to different universes. Yet, this is the profound reality of our food system. We have transformed a heavy, prehistoric-looking grazer into a highly specialized biological factory, isolating its most valuable output while slowly engineering the animal itself to become more docile, more productive, and completely reliant on human intervention. The rustic romance of the Italian countryside masks a relentless, highly structured system of exploitation and refinement. We have taken the raw, unruly essence of a swamp-dwelling giant and distilled it into a fleeting, delicate moment of pure culinary ecstasy. Leaving behind the muddy pastures and the illusion of a rustic natural order, we must now descend into a chillingly perfect realm where biology is treated merely as a mechanical input. Imagine stepping inside a colossal, windowless warehouse where the air hums with the relentless, deafening rhythm of thousands of motors and conveyor belts. This is the apex of modern food manufacturing, a fully automated egg processing and omelette factory. Here, the living animal has been entirely abstracted from the equation, replaced by endless miles of gleaming stainless steel and artificial intelligence. The egg, a fragile, deeply profound symbol of biological reproduction and new life, is stripped of its meaning the moment it rolls onto the grading belt. I have stood in these facilities and watched in absolute awe as millions of eggs are subjected to a brutal, unyielding gauntlet of mechanical scrutiny. They are washed by high-pressure jets, scanned by acoustic sensors to detect microscopic hairline fractures, and passed over intense, blinding lasers that peer through the shell to identify any internal imperfections. It is a terrifyingly beautiful ballet of mathematics and engineering. If an egg fails to meet the exact, calculated standards of the algorithm, it is instantly blown off the line by a precise puff of compressed air, discarded without a second thought. The survivors are sent into the maw of a massive, robotic cracking machine. Dozens of mechanical claws snap the shells perfectly in half, separating yolks from whites at a speed that makes the human eye blur. The liquid is pasteurized, homogenized, and pumped through a labyrinth of pipes until it reaches a massive, continuous cooking drum. In mere minutes, a perfectly uniform, golden, mass-produced omelette emerges, immediately flash-frozen and packaged without a single human fingerprint ever making contact. There is no chef. No pan, no heat of a kitchen fire, only the cold, uncompromising logic of peak industrial efficiency. Witnessing this complete erasure of the natural world leaves you with a profound sense of vertigo. We have successfully broken down the messy, unpredictable miracle of animal reproduction into a controllable, programmable sequence of zeros and ones. This factory is a monument to our obsessive need for control, a place where organic life is fed into one end of a machine, and a standardized, commercially viable commodity is spat out the other, completely divorced from its origins. Staring down at that perfectly uniform, machine-born omelette, the sheer, staggering magnitude of what humanity has orchestrated finally crashes over you. We began our journey holding a $500,000 handbag carved from the skin of an ancient killer and a flawless pearl of cheese drawn from the milk of a muddy giant. What connects the crocodile, the water buffalo, and the automated egg is not just that they are commodities, they are profound reflections of our own relentless, deeply unsettling evolution. We are no longer merely surviving on this planet, we are playing God with its operating system. We have taken the wild, unpredictable, and violent poetry of nature and forced it to speak the cold, rigid language of global capitalism and mass production. There is a terrifying beauty in what we have achieved. The sheer genius required to engineer these sprawling supply chains is awe-inspiring, a testament to the boundless capacity of the human mind to solve problems and optimize reality. Yet, beneath the glittering surface of luxury goods and the comforting convenience of mass-produced food lies a haunting question about what we have lost in this pursuit of absolute control. We have built a world where the origins of our desires are deliberately hidden behind the locked doors of sterile factories and heavily guarded farms, intentionally shielding us from the bloody, muddy, and mechanical truths of our consumption. But ignorance is a fragile luxury. By daring to look behind the curtain, by choosing to witness the gentrification of the predator and the mechanization of the egg, we reclaim our awareness. We are forced to acknowledge the heavy, moral weight of our dominance over the natural world. If you found yourself captivated, unsettled, or profoundly moved by this journey into the hidden mechanics of our reality, do not let this be the end of your curiosity. Hit that subscribe button, leave your deepest thoughts in the comments below, and stand with at Mluvuong04 as we continue to tear away the polished facades of modern society. We will keep venturing into the dark, hidden corners of human industry, bringing you the raw, unfiltered stories that redefine what it means to live in this breathtaking, deeply flawed, and magnificently engineered world. The journey from the sterilized enclosures of modern crocodile farms to the sun-baked pastures of water buffaloes and the deafening hum of automated egg factories reveals a profound truth about the human condition. We have fundamentally rewritten the rules of the natural world, transforming wild, chaotic biology into highly optimized, sanitized commodities. Whether it is an impossibly expensive handbag, a delicate sphere of artisanal mozzarella, or a perfectly uniform, mass-produced omelette, these end products represent the absolute triumph of human engineering over nature's unruly essence. Yet, this triumph comes at a steep psychological and moral cost. By isolating the polished end product from the brutal, messy reality of its creation, we have built a society defined by profound disconnection. We consume the ghost of an apex predator, the hijacked reproductive cycle of a swamp giant, and the mechanized output of an organic machine, all without ever witnessing the deeply unsettling systems that make such consumption possible. This relentless pursuit of perfection, efficiency, and luxury has turned the Earth's ancient ecosystems into an expansive factory floor, meticulously programmed to serve human desire. Ultimately, this exploration is not just about the items we buy or the food we eat, it is a mirror reflecting our immense, terrifying power and our chilling detachment. It forces us to confront the heavy reality that our everyday comfort and status are entirely built upon the subjugation and total gentrification of the natural order. True awareness requires us to look beyond the polished surface of modern convenience. The ultimate luxury of our era is not a flawless leather good or a seamlessly automated meal, but the privilege of remaining blissfully ignorant of the complex systems that sustain our lifestyles. However, this willful blindness reduces us to passive consumers rather than conscious inhabitants of the earth. When we lose sight of the origins of our resources, we lose our reverence for life itself, treating the natural world merely as an endless, mechanical input for our industrial ambitions. Start by practicing radical mindfulness regarding your consumption. Before you make a purchase, whether it is a piece of clothing, an expensive accessory, or simply your next meal, pause to mentally trace its journey. Ask yourself, what natural resources were manipulated? What biological processes were altered or erased? What invisible labor brought this into my hands? You do not have to abandon modern society to make a difference. By making intentional, informed choices, you actively reject passive consumerism. Support local producers, seek out transparent supply chains, and prioritize raw authenticity over artificial perfection. Acknowledging the true cost of what you consume allows you to reclaim your agency and fosters a deeper, more respectful relationship with the world around you. Which of these transformations surprised or unsettled you the most, the gentrification of the crocodile, the biological alchemy of the water buffalo, or the cold mechanization of the egg? Please share your thoughts in the comments below so we can all explore different perspectives together. If this journey changed the way you look at the modern world, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Your subscription gives us the drive to keep producing high-quality content and uncovering the hidden truths of our reality.